Hello you guys, welcome to my channel or welcome back to my channel. I thought for today I would give you my TBR for 2025. How did we make it to this year? I'm 2 weeks in and I don't know. I don't know, it's also gone by really quick already, which is kind of scary. But before we get on to this video, I want to say I have a really bad headache, so I'm sorry if you could tell that I have a headache. I need to record the video. I can't get rid of the headache, so we're still doing this, okay? Also, for my TBR this year, I decided not to go as crazy because, like, throughout the year I'm adding so many books, and then I don't ever read them because I'm a mood reader. If I'm not in the mood to read a book, I'm not reading it. So, like, that's just, having a TBR that I don't actually want to read just kind of annoys me, to be honest. Like, I don't know what it is. So, mainly I stuck to series that I want to read this year, whether I finish them this year, start them this year, or whatever, but I just mainly stuck to series. So I'll tell you my series that I want to read this year, and then maybe if I can think of a couple books that I want to read, I'll tell you that, but I can't really think of any books that I want to read this year, besides like a couple. So, let's just get right on into the video. So first we have the Throne of Glass series by Sarah J. Maas. Now, I'm going to be completely honest with you guys. I wasn't obsessed with ACOTAR. You guys saw I finished ACOTAR at the end of the year, and it wasn't bad. It was just like, what book was it? A Court of Mist and Fury. I know everyone loves that book. That book was a little bit boring to me. Oh wait, not. Yeah, Court of Mist. I get them mixed up, okay? That book was a little bit boring. And I know everyone loves that book. And I'm sorry, but I thought it was boring. I honestly I'm gonna reread it at some point. I need to reread it, like, already knowing what happened so I don't get as bored, you know what I mean? But it was just, it fell flat for me. So, there is a chance I won't like Throne of Glass, but I used to think ACOTAR was more popular than Throne of Glass, but recently I've figured out that, like, I think Throne of Glass is more popular. I just think more people talk about ACOTAR, but more people read Throne of Glass. You get what I mean? I would love to sit here and tell you what it's about. I do not know what it's about. I'm not looking up what it's about because I know, like, one spoiler, and I don't want to know anything else. So, I'm not going to look anything up, but that's, like, I think there's 7 books and 3 novellas. And also, like, the reading order is not, like, the way they were published. So I have to, like, look up the reading order and everything. I'm hoping I like it. I know it's not romance heavy. I know it has romance in it, but it's not, like, the main point of the book, which I like. I'm going to be completely honest. As you guys probably tell, I am a romance girly. Like, I read for romance. I don't read for fantasy. But we're going to give it a chance because I want to read more books that, like, kind of, like, affect me, if that makes sense. Like, romance books are, like, most of them are you read it and whatever, you move on. But, like, there's a few, like, Boys of Tommen series that, like, affected me. That made me feel something. And I want to read more books like that this year. So I think Throne of Glass will do that for me. So, first series is the Throne of Glass. Okay, next, I mentioned this in my first video of the year. If you want to go watch that, I ranked the top 20 books of the year and then the bottom 4 books of the year. And I said I read the first Addicted series book called Addicted to You by Christy Ritchie, I think. And I'm going to be completely honest, I DNF'd it. As I mentioned in that video, I DNF'd it at, like, 70%. And, like, I don't know if I just wasn't feeling it that day or if it just isn't for me, but I want to give it another chance because I know a lot of people love that book series. I know for a lot of people that's what, like, got them into reading, and, like, for me, what got me into reading is it was the after series, the fanfic about Harry Styles. Yes, that's literally what got me into reading. And so I know that the after series for me is what Addicted series is for other people. And so I want to experience that as well. Plus, I think I read that the first book is like the one of the series. Maybe I'm wrong. But I want to give it another shot. I'll eventually get to reading that one. There's just also, not only is it a lot of people love that book, but also it's like 2 series that go together. Sorry, my cat distracted me. Yeah, obviously every time I record a video, he has to go to the bathroom. And I'm not lying. Okay, but yeah, I think it's like 2 series that you don't have to read together, but they're kind of connected. Like, just like, what's it called? The Elsie Silver books. The first series and the second series have some of the same people in it. I don't know why, like, I can't think right now. Like, I can't think of what it's called. But the Elsie Silver books, most of them have people from other books inside of it, even though it's not the same series. So I think that's also how it is with the Addicted series. I might be wrong, but I'm, like, pretty sure whenever I was watching videos about it, that's what they said. So I want to read that this year. Okay, and then next we have the Percy Jackson series. I'm not going to sit here and explain the Percy Jackson series, like, everything that happens. But I know that they're coming out with the 2nd season of the show. And so I want to get to reading the book series. I already read the first 2. So I read Percy Jackson, The Lightning Thief, and then Percy Jackson, Sea of Monsters. I read those 2 already. Now, going on from this, I don't know nothing about anything, like, at all. Because I loved the movies. Like, a lot of people hated the movies, and I could see now why you would probably hate the movies if you read the books first. But me, I didn't read the books. I just watched the movies, and Logan Lerman is so... Oh, I love him. So, I thought the movies were really good. The second one's a little bit The first one, though, is so good. I named my cat after Percy Jackson because of that movie. Yeah, so I knew what happened in the first 2, like, kind of, and then I read the books before, the first 2 books, before I started the Percy Jackson series, and so I think the first season of the series is only about the first book, so I don't really have to read the rest of the Percy Jackson series until, before the next season comes out, but whatever, we'll see. I don't know when I'm going to start it, okay? I don't know when I'm going to proceed to read it, whatever. So yeah, but I do know I want to read that series because, first of all, it's not that big of a series. It's like a really short series, and I want to know everything about Percy Jackson. I named my cat after him, so, like, obviously I should know about Percy Jackson. Plus, also, the series is really good, and if they keep putting series out, seasons of the series out for every single book, I want to know what it's about before I watch the series. You know what I mean? So, yeah, that series is coming out. I'm very excited to watch the next season. Oh, the first season was so good. So good. So, I want to read the Percy Jackson series. I'm trying to think real quick. I think there's only 3 more left for me to read because I already read 2 of them. But the books are okay. I'm not sitting here saying that I loved the books, to be completely honest. The books were like 3 or 4 stars for me. They weren't crazy, but they're also, like, really written for young adults. I think they're pretty much written for children. So I'm not mad that I didn't like them, you know? But still, they're not terrible to read, so I want to read all of those. Next, we have The Naturals. I have read the first book. I picked this book up because I read that it was like a Criminal Minds with a little bit of romance, but not really, put into, like, a series with people that have, like, powers. And so I was like, Yes, I love Criminal Minds. I love anything that's like people have powers. And so this girl, she's like, she gets, what's the word? I don't know the word. The FBI wants her to join them because she has powers. She's like a really good, like, she's basically a psychic, but like, it goes beyond psychic. Like, she can really tell everything that's going on. Whatever. So the FBI wants her to join them, and she's only like 17 or something like that. I don't know. And so she joins them and a whole bunch of other kids as well. The whole time she's also trying to find out who murdered her mother. And so that's what the first book is about. I don't know what the other books are about. I haven't looked it up, but I have the whole series already, and so I want to read those. The first book, I can't remember. I think I gave it a 4 stars. I think it was pretty good. It wasn't anything crazy, obviously, because I didn't give it 5 stars. But I thought it was really good. Is it as, like, Criminal Mindsy as I wanted it to be? No. But I also think that one's also young adult. So, again, I can't sit here and complain that it's not as crazy as I wanted it to be because I knew it was young adult going into it. I think it is, at least. So, whatever. But yeah, I did like the first book, so I want to read all those. Again, they're really like easy books to read, so why not? Next, we have The Legacy of Gods, okay? I'm going to be completely honest when I say I mainly want to read this series because like the 5th one or something, I'm not sure to be honest, is an MM. And I've been seeing a lot of TikToks about that relationship. And I need to read that, but I don't want to read it without reading the other ones first. Okay? So, Legacy of Gods is like, oh, it's a long series. They're all like standalone series, so like, you don't need to read all of them, I don't think, but if you want to understand the story a little bit better or even more, you should read all of them in order. And I'm going to be doing that because I love me a standalone series. It's so fun because I don't get as bored because like it's a whole new relationship in the next book. So I want to read that. I don't know how many there are in that series. The only thing I know is those books have been popping up on my Kindle, on my TikTok, everywhere for like the past 2 years, and I just never picked one up. I almost picked up the first one like many times, but I just didn't. And now that I know what's in store for like a couple books down the line, I need to read them. I need to read those books. So I'm also pretty sure they're all dark romance, which I love me some dark romance. I don't care. I love dark romance. So I want to read The Legacy of Gods. Okay, next we have The Zodiac Academy. Now, The Zodiac Academy is, I think it's a whole series. I don't think it's standalones. I think it's continuous story. And honestly, I've had a couple of things spoiled for me, so like I refuse to look up anything else. But it's about like fays and it's fantasy and like vampires, I'm pretty sure, and it's a whole thing. There's so many books. I think there's like 20 books. And also with those books, there's other ones that like are kind of connected to the story that are also by the same author, obviously, that like also people are reading as well with it. And like it's such a long series, and also with that one, it's like some people don't read it in the actual order that it came out. There's a different order that makes it better to read, and like it's so confusing. It's so confusing. I've read like 10 pages of the first one, but then I found out that some people don't read the first one first. They read a different book series, and they start with that one because it's before that one, and it has a couple of the characters in it. I don't know. It's so confusing. All I know is it's a really long series, which is what I've been looking for. I've been looking for a long series that's continuous and not like standalones. I'm pretty sure this one is a long story, so I want to read that. I know it's like multiple books. I know it's got vampires, and I know it's got fae, and it's spicy, so I want to read it. So that's gonna be a long one to read. But also, I've seen a lot of people say that they actually read it pretty quickly because it's an easy read. So who knows? We'll see. But I've been wanting to read the Zodiac Academy for a while. Plus, also, anytime my sister reads a book that I would kind of read as well, I want to read it so that we can talk about it. Like, for example, one of the next books is the one in the Fourth Wing series. I don't know what the series is called. I just know the first one's Fourth Wing. So I read Fourth Wing first, okay? Then my mom read Fourth Wing. And then I was going to start the next one, Iron Flame. I just never did because I was waiting for the new year. My mom read Iron Flame. And then my sister was like, ooh, I want to read that. So she picked up Fourth Wing. She read Fourth Wing and Iron Flame, and I haven't even started Iron Flame. And then now, literally in like 3 days, I think it's like 2 days after this comes out or something, there's a new one. Onyx Storm, I think is what it's called. And so I need to read these books. Okay? I really liked Fourth Wing. I gave Fourth Wing 5 stars. I thought it was good. The only reason why I haven't picked up the second one is because a lot of people say it's not as good as the first one, and it's a lot of world building and all this stuff, and I'm scared to be disappointed by it, to be honest, because I liked Fourth Wing so much. So I just haven't picked it up. It's also a really long book. Okay? It is such a long book. So that series is also on my TBR to read. I'll start it eventually. I really will. I will, okay? Because one thing about me is I hate when a book comes out that's, like, in this series. It's after the one that I haven't read yet. And so, like, everyone's talking about this third one that I haven't even read the second one about. And it's a whole thing, and I hate not being included because I want to know what everyone's talking about. So I really need to get on that. I do, okay? Okay, next we have the Off-Campus series by L. Kennedy. Okay, I think I picked up the first book a little bit ago and I just never got to reading it, and I didn't even know that it was part of this like series because I've been hearing about the Off-Campus series since I started reading again, and I was like, oh, cool, I'll read that. But I never knew that that was the first one. It has 5 books in the series. They're all standalones, I'm pretty sure. This is all hockey romance. I love me a hockey romance. I love hockey romance. I needed to read the series really bad. As I said, I've been trying to read more books that, like, are gonna affect my life. So, like, you know, I have been reading fanfics, which I'll get to in a minute. But I've been trying to read a little bit more, like, you know, and so I don't want to start this book series and, like, get hooked into it and then be in a reading slump after, you know what I mean? So I am going to read those soon. Another thing I am going to be doing, I thought I would put this in right here. I am going to start reading my series spread apart a little bit more because I read a whole series in, like, 2 weeks or something, and then I just get, like, I don't want to read anything else because, like, I read so much about so many different people in that short amount of time that I just, like, I can't. So I'm going to spread my series out more, so it's going to take longer to finish a series, but it's going to be better for me. The only problem is I have really bad memory, so that's also going to force me to, like, pay attention when I read and, like, write down stuff to remember and, like, you know what I mean, stuff like that. And so we'll get on to more of that later because I want to talk more about, like, my plans for all that stuff. But the next, I want to read the Off-Campus series. That's also another huge one that everyone says they love, and it changed them and it made them want to read and, like, all this stuff. And so I need to read that. Plus it's hockey romance. Hockey romance, it could be, like, the most terrible book, and I'm still going to eat it up because it's hockey romance. And that's just me being honest. Okay, so next we have the Edens. I'm pretty sure there's 6 books in this series. These are all, I think, cowboy romance. Again, I wish I could sit here and tell you guys about all this stuff to a T, but I have been learning to not look everything up before because I've spoiled so many books. in the past. So, yes. But the one thing about this cowboy romance series is it is apparently really dark. Like, it has, like, dark themes. So, like, you have to, like, look up the trigger warnings and everything about. And I've only read, like, the cute cowboy romances. And I need to get into the dark cowboy romance because I like dark romance. And I've been liking the cowboy romance. So, might as well put them together, you know? So, I'm very excited about this one. I already have the first one on my Kindle ready to go. So, I need to read the series. It's another one that a lot of people talk about. I already spoiled one thing. I spoiled one thing, okay? Technically, I didn't even spoil it. I kind of heard about it. And then I was in Target. And these two girls were, like, looking at all the books as well. And she, like, was talking about this book. And she's like, oh my gosh, whenever this happened, I cried. And I was like, okay, that was confirmed. Now I know for sure. So that kind of got spoiled, like, a little bit by me, but mostly by the people at Target. But I wasn't mad about it because I kind of knew about it already. It just confirmed it. But cowboy dark romance, yes, I will be reading that. Next, we have An Empire of Blood and Chaos. Now, this is a reverse harem book series. And so I think it follows, like, the same people throughout the whole entire series. Now, this is also another dark one, because not only is it reverse harem, it's mafia. Yes. Yes. Yeah. Yep. I also almost started this one at the end of last year, but I was like, wait, this is one of those series that has, like, multiple books that, like, I need to, like, save. I don't know why, but I was like, I can't start a series at the end of the month, at the end of the year, and, like, you know. So I've been wanting to read this one for a hot minute. I don't think that many books are out already. I think there's only 4 of them out, and there's gonna be a lot more released later. But still, I need to get onto that so that I can read them as they come out. Mafia Reverse Harem is calling me. It's calling me. Okay, that's all the series that I can think of. That's all my TBR. Now I'm going to tell you a couple of, like, the random books that I also want to read this year. Again, I do not have a list of this. This is just, like, off the top of my head. So first, we have A Little Life. I know a lot of people will talk about A Little Life. A Little Life is about, I think, 4 guys that live together in New York City. And it's pretty dark. There's some trigger warnings you need to look up. It's pretty dark. And it's just about their life, and a lot of people talk about this. A lot of people say that it's, like, a little bit too dark. Like, whatever. It's a whole thing. People are getting really, like, sensitive towards this stuff now, and I don't know what happened. But a lot of people say it's a little too dark, and it's not really romance. I don't think it's, like, romance-based. I think it's really just about, like, their lives living together and, like, what's happened in their past and stuff like that. So it's a little bit different. I'm already reading this book. I don't remember what percentage I'm in, but I think I'm, like, 40 pages into it. It's honestly fun. It hasn't bored me yet. It's just such a long book where, like, nothing crazy is happening. So, like, right now at least. So it's just kind of hard to, like, get into it. Plus I have to, like, really pay attention when I read it. Like, it's just one of those books where I can't just, like, haha, yay, nice, and just scroll through the pages. You know, I have to, like, sit there and, like, remember everything that's happening, which I love that about books. I love books like that, but it's taken me a little bit longer, okay? But also, I did find a way. I'll save this for later too, like I was saying when I wanted to tell you guys about my reading plans, stuff like that. I'll save what I was going to say for later, okay? But I want to read that one. I'm very excited. I've heard a lot of things about it. Again, I did spoil it. But this one was different, okay? This one was not on me this time. I swear it wasn't. Okay, I looked up the trigger warnings because I was trying to remember what this book was about. Because I was like, wait, there was some reason why I decided to actually pick this book up. Because, like, I knew what it was about, but sometimes if there's a trigger warning in there, I'm going to read it immediately, a certain one. I'm like, I'm reading that. Because, like, I like the darker stuff. And so, I think I looked up the trigger warnings again one day just to make sure. and it wasn't the same as it used to be, and it straight up told me the major, like, thing that happens in the book, and I was like, great. And it completely spoiled it. I literally cried when I found out. I was like, no, you know? So, that really annoyed me. Yeah. Next, we have Ninth House. I'm pretty sure this is a dark academia book. I might be completely wrong. I know, I'm pretty sure it's dark academia, though. I, again, haven't looked up anything about this book. I think it's about a person out of school, and that's about it. But I really want to read that one. I've been wanting a little bit towards, I think it was September. I was really wanting to get into dark academia books, just like, you know, for the vibes. And so I looked up a whole bunch of books like that, and I just never got around to reading them because I was like, wait, I'm about to be reading books for Halloween, so I should wait. But then I got in a reading slump, and it was a whole thing. So I want to read that book. Another book slightly like that is Babel. I don't know how to pronounce it. I'm sorry, I don't. I know that one as well really, really affected people. Like, I saw many videos of people, like, sobbing to that book. And again, it's a dark academia. It's got that vibe to it. I already have the book. I have it purchased already. I was gonna pick it up and read it, but I never did. So I really need to read that book. I shouldn't do this, but I'm probably gonna do it anyway. I might wait till it gets to, like, spooky time to read those books. Because I either need to read them now while it's still, like, cold out, or I need to wait till spooky time, because I just won't want to. Because again, I'm a mood reader. It all depends on how I'm feeling at that moment. Sometimes it depends on the weather. Like, it depends on seasons, or it depends on, like, holidays. Like, it really depends. So I really want to read that one. Okay, before we get on to, like, my plans on, like, how I'm going to read and, like, whatever. I don't really know how to explain that, but before we get on to all that stuff, I wanted to also mention fanfics. Sorry, but we're going to mention fanfics. I have a couple fanfics already downloaded. Also, I mentioned this in my vlog coming out tomorrow. I finally found out how to get fanfics from Wattpad onto my Kindle because a random girl on TikTok commented it, because I was like, guys, Wattpad needs to make it able to put your books onto Kindle. It's a whole thing, like, you know. And she was like, you can. It's this website. And I was like, y'all, she saved my life. She just improved my quality of life so much. I put all of them on my Kindle yesterday while I was at work. I haven't touched any of them yet. I haven't started any of them yet, but I'm about to be reading so many fanfics. I'm so excited. So I thought I would quickly go through them all. You might recognize some. If you're a fanfic girly, you might recognize some. First, I've already been reading Manacled. I started Manacled literally the beginning of last year. Yeah. And it's being turned into a book as we speak. That's how popular it was. It's been being turned into a book as we speak. It's not even available on Archive of Our Own anymore. But I need to read it before the book comes out, so I'm not one of those people that are like sitting there, oh my gosh, I love Manacled, when I didn't even read it, when it was like fanfic, you know what I mean? Which is fine, but like, I should finish it before it comes out as a book, you know what I mean? So I have that one. I'm 19% in, and when I tell you, I did not know how long this book was. I kept reading and reading and reading and reading for hours and hours, and I was like, how am I only 19% in? I looked it up. This book has 1,400 pages. And I was like, oh, that makes sense. That's probably why. And you know what? You know what happened? My sister hit me up. If you watch my vlogs, you saw we had a snowstorm. My sister hit me up during that weekend. And she's like, hey, what's that fanfic called again? Because my sister watched Harry Potter too. And I mentioned this fanfic and what it was about. And she was like, what's that fanfic again? So I gave it to her. I sent it to her. Luckily, I had it downloaded because they had taken it off Archive of Our Own already. I had it downloaded. I sent it to her. This girl texted me like 4 days later, and she's like, finished it. And I was like, are you freaking joking? I've been working on reading this book for the past year, and you finished it in 4 days. Which, I mean, if I really wanted to, I could have finished it earlier. I just keep, like, not reading it, you know? But this book is about Hermione Granger from Harry Potter and Draco Malfoy, and Harry died, and Voldemort lived, okay? And so now there's a whole, like, thing going on. I don't know. And so Voldemort is ordering Death Eaters to impregnate girls. And so Hermione gets paired up with Draco, and she has to live with Draco, and it's a whole thing. And it's a very dark book, but I'm 19% into that, so I want to read that one. I have another Draco Malfoy fanfic called Secrets and Masks. Honestly, guys, I would try to find most of these fanfics and link them down below, because obviously it's going to be harder to find these. So I'll just link all the ones that I'm able to find for you. So next we have Secrets and Masks. It's another Draco Malfoy and Hermione Granger fanfic. I don't remember 100% what that one's about. I think it's kind of similar to Manacled, but like different, obviously. That's the Hermione fanfics that I got. Next I have 2 Anakin Skywalker fanfics. One of them is just about how a girl gets paired up to work with Anakin, and they like fall in love, but like obviously they can't fall in love, and something, I think that's what it's about. I haven't started it yet. I barely looked up what it was about. I literally just like skimmed it, and then I saw that it was like tons of chapters, and I was like, yep, okay, okay, yep. And then another one is called, that one's called Tortured. This one's called Precipice. I honestly don't know. I don't know how to say that word. But this one is also, some of these fanfics I did make the covers for, like this one, which you could probably tell that I made the cover. Some of the other ones are made from other people, but this one is about Anakin and Padme if he didn't fall. Does that make sense? I don't know how to explain it all, okay? Star Wars is very difficult to understand. Okay, it's about him if he didn't go to the dark side, and about them together, what would have happened if he didn't go to the dark side, okay? That's what it's about. I don't know how to explain this, okay? I don't. Okay, next we have All the Young Dudes, and then That's the Art of Getting By. All the Young Dudes is literally the most popular fanfic out, like, right now that's not published now. It's about the Marauders. I think I'm saying that right. I don't know. It's Harry Potter. It's about them. If you've read Harry Potter, you know who they are. Most of you probably already know. Like, if you guys are watching my video, I feel like the people that would watch my video probably already know about all this. Know about All the Young Dudes. Again, it's very popular. So I'm going to read that one. And then That's the Art of Getting By is kind of like an extension of it. It's not by the same people, but it's like continuing the story, you know. And then next I have 2 Spencer Reid fanfics. So I'm actually reading one right now. I'm 66% into it. It's called Reckless. It's about this girl. She meets Spencer like 6 years before the story takes place. She meets him. They have a night together. And ever since then, they've been looking for each other. She literally has a baby with him now. Like, he doesn't know that, but she got pregnant that night. And, and so 6 years after that happens, Derek Morgan leaves the team, and they need a replacement, and she replaces, and then they're like, oh my gosh, it's you. And he doesn't know that her son is his son. It's a whole thing. I haven't gotten to the part where he figures out yet, but that's that. It's really good so far. It's really good. And then next I have Heroism. I think that's what it's called. I think this one's actually like 3 books. I'm so excited. It's long ones. These are long books. I'm so excited. And there's 3 of them. And this one is just about a girl that also joins the team and like falls in love with Spencer. I'm so excited. I'm so excited. Okay, next let's get on to the Harry Styles fanfics. I'm not going to sit here and explain every single one of them, because if you guys know Harry Styles fanfics, or you know Harry Styles, you know these fanfics. So, first we have duplicity. There's duplicity and there's complicity. It's literally like the most popular Harry Styles fanfic, I think, besides After. It's huge. So I want to read those. And then I have Hideaway. Hideaway is actually 4 books. So I have all those already put on my Kindle to read. And so I've read Hideaway. I haven't read the other ones. I also haven't read Complicity yet, but I've read Duplicity. So there's those. And then we have Stall 1 and 2. I've already read 1. I haven't read 2 yet. Again, this is my favorite. Everyone loves Duplicity. I love Stall. I love Stall. Okay. And then we have Devil's Stew. Again, another one that I love. I really just added like iconic ones that I already know I like on here. And then we have The Waterboy. Okay. The Waterboy is a Niall and Harry book. Okay. Do I ship Niall and Harry? No. But this book is so insanely good that I think about it all the time. I think about this fanfic literally all the time. Like, to the point where, like, 2 years ago, when I wasn't reading and I was I was only reading fanfics at that point, like, I just didn't know books like this existed, to be honest. And so, I loved this book so much that I tried to copy and paste print it on my computer at home because that's how much I wanted this book. Like, I'm crazy. Yeah, but I can't wait to read that one again. And then I do have a Larry fanfic on there. Get over it. I know a lot of people hate when people say they ship Larry, okay? I'm sorry, I ship Larry. Am I one of the crazy ones that think his baby is fake? No, I don't. But I did ship Larry, okay? So this one's called Painless. It's a Larry one. It's basically where I think Harry doesn't feel pain. And so, yeah, I don't know. But those are all the fanfics I want to read. Now, I want to get on to my, like, plans for reading and stuff. So, first of all, I'm going to start doing a reading journal again. I did a reading journal for, like, a couple books last year, and it just never, I never continued to do it. But as I said, I want to, space out my series this year and read them, throughout the year instead of reading them all at one time. And so, I'll have to write down stuff to remember it. And I think at the end of the year, it would be pretty to flip through all of the books I read. Plus, also, my other thing is, I only have my book goal for 52 books this year. That is a book every single week of the year. Last year, I had it at 130. I did meet that goal, but there was a lot of the time where I was forcing myself to read, and I just don't want to do that. Because, every single year, for, a couple months, I get in a reading slump. It's happened the past 2 years, and I just didn't want to have to force myself to read this year if I got in a reading slump and I needed to, get back to my reading goal. So I only made my book goal 52. I may go way over. That's okay. I don't care. And if I go under, I don't care. I let Goodreads control my life. Okay? I did. And no more. No more. No more. So I want to read 52 books this year. That's the what I put on Goodreads, but if it's different, it's fine. So a book a week. Again, I'm going to read whenever I want. So if I finish 5 books in a week, that's okay. If I don't finish a book in a week, that's fine too. So it'll be a lot easier for me to do the book journaling because I'm not sitting there I have to finish this book in 2 days. Oh my gosh. I can literally sit there and I can take an hour break just on my book journal while reading. You know what I mean? I'm not forcing myself to read a book quickly, okay? So, there's that. That way I can also read fanfics and be fine. Because I'm honestly probably going to track most of my fanfics. I might, at the end of the year, take all the fanfics off if I go, way over my goal. I'll probably go through and remove all the fanfics from my Goodreads. Because it's a fanfic, it's not an actual book. But I count it as a book because I'm still reading. But maybe at the end of the year, like I said, if I get over my book goal by a lot, I'll take them off. So that's only real books. But there's that. Also, I've recently been loving having every form of a book. Obviously, if Kindle Unlimited has a book, I'm not buying the physical book. But if I already have a physical copy of a book and I can find the audiobook online, that's great. And then if I can also find the physical, if I can also find the digital version online, I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna try to get every single version of that book so that I can read it however I want. Because sometimes I want to listen to an audiobook. Sometimes I want to hold the actual book. Sometimes I want to read it on my Kindle. So I love that. Like A Little Life, I said I want to read that. I have the physical copy. I just downloaded the book on my Kindle, and they have the audiobook on Spotify as well. So I'm very excited to read that because I'll have all versions of it. So I want to do that. But yeah, that way I just enjoy reading more and not like pressure myself to read and like not have to sit there in my bed uncomfortable trying to read a physical book when I'm not comfortable reading a physical book. I can literally read a book anytime I want if I have all the options to read a book. You know what I mean? I just recently loved that, so I'm going to start doing that as well. Yeah, that's pretty much all for today. Thank you guys for watching. That was my TBR kind of, but like a more loose TBR because I'm not trying to go crazy this year, like I said. I hope you guys liked this video, and I will see you guys in the next one.